beneficiary of the project, but for reasons I'll explain in a moment, they are not interested in the project. I think the bottom line here is, as promising from an engineering and environmental perspective that this project is, a key and as of yet unresolved factor limiting the potential feasibility of the proposed project is the landowner's desire to retain ownership of the property and charge a royalty for the water that would be generated. And this royalty would effectively make the water coming from this project the most expensive of the 4 projects investigated to date. It would add about $500 per acre foot of water generated. So again, even though it's located in Redwood Valley, and Redwood Valley County Water District would be the logical user of this water, but because of the royalty, $500 an acre foot, it would make more sense for the Redwood Valley County Water District to look at other options. Even the Capella Reservoirs project would be more favorable than this particular one. We did also consider, though, looking at it from the perspective of could this be a benefit to the Capella and North Ukiah Valley redevelopment areas. But the problem there is that this project is too small and it's a fairly long, expensive pipeline. So again, unless it's a great project and it has a lot of potential, but right now, unless we could get things resolved with the royalty, it doesn't make sense even for Redwood Valley at this point. So just to close on this 4th project, the feasibility study, if you were to move forward, is fairly straightforward. It would take about 6 months to complete. It would focus on geotechnical issues, and it would cost roughly $75,000 to complete. So just again, in the interest of time, I'll wrap up and close with the recommendations. Based on the information we've developed today, all 4 projects appear to be potentially feasible from an engineering and environmental perspective. However, in each case, additional work needs to be done to confirm the feasibility and better refine the cost estimates. Staff believes that all 4 projects warrant further review and study, but in view of the county's limited financial resources, we have with some difficulty prioritized the 4 projects and recommend that the board authorize staff to proceed with the Phase 2 feasibility of the 2 highest ranked projects, Scout Lake and the Capella Reservoirs, until additional resources become available, suspend the Mendocino College and Nice Reservoir investigations, or at least those activities that require substantial staff time or outside consultant expertise. Staff further recommends that the board allocate $300,000 in fiscal year 2008-2009 for the completion of the Scout 2 or the Scout Lake and feasibility investigation and partial completion of the Capella Reservoirs Phase 2 feasibility investigation. And finally, staff will continue to identify and investigate the other water storage, water supply opportunities that come up as time and financial resources allow. So with that, I think I'll just close and be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, bringing it back to the board, I believe Supervisor Delbar was first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sanford, the estimated construction cost for each project, how was that determined?
The consulting engineer, James Hansen, basically estimated those on the quantity of material, the location of the dam site. I guess outside of using standard engineering calculations, other than that, I can't say exactly how he's done it.
Is it just taking, for example, the Nice project? That appears to be a substantial amount of money for what, from a layman's standpoint, it's a pretty simple
It
project.
is a substantial amount of money, and primarily because it costs a lot of money to move dirt is what it gets down to. So
the cost per acre foot is a simple math, and if that was to be amortized, because it over a period of time that's standard for these types of projects, what would that period of time be? Because that, if someone was to pick this up and say,
right,
boy, the retail price, wholesale price is $6,000 an acre foot, that's obviously misleading.
all four projects, if you look at, the yield of the project, because that's a factor too, and then amortizing the debt over 30, 40 years, all of them will right now, the way we see it, the cost per acre foot to the user would be on the order of $700 to as much as $1,600 per acre foot. Now, the Nice Reservoir project, if we set aside the royalty for now, you're talking about $900 to $1,100 per acre foot. So when you add that $500 an acre foot royalty fee, it really bumps it to the the upper end, and that's the problem for us. But you're absolutely right that ultimately it's what does it cost per acre foot?
In regard to the college reservoirs, you said that you rank them below the Calpella ones because of the other factors involved. And if I gather from your comments in my reading, that was the draft in-stream flow policy. There's also the mitigation measures. Did I read this correctly?
Yeah, you certainly did. I mean, unfortunately, with the North Coast in-stream flow policy, and we realize that we don't know exactly how that's going to